Okay, girls, are you gonna try the snails?
Mm-hmm.
Take a bite.
It tastes like rubber.
Well, today is day 10 of my homegrown food challenge, and for dinner, I am cooking escargot. That is snails. We raised these snails from tiny little eggs. They grew up in an aquarium, and now we're having them for dinner. So in this video, you'll see the entire process of raising snails. Now to start this project, I needed to buy some snails. So I went online and I found a company that was selling 2 snails that were specifically bred for escargot. So I placed an order. So now that I've ordered our 2 snails online, they're currently being shipped in the mail. The notifications say they should arrive in a few days. And when they get here, I want to have the perfect enclosure, a habitat with everything they need, not only to survive, but to thrive and hopefully reproduce. Now, we watched a lot of videos online about caring for snails, and they seem pretty simple to care for. In Europe, they farm them en masse, even outdoor enclosures where they feed them with a plank down the center, and there are thousands and thousands of snails that will climb up and feed, but pretty much they're being raised outside. I've also seen some videos where they're raising them here in the US in a greenhouse like this, where it's temperature controlled, but they're raising thousands and thousands of snails in these tiny plastic totes stacked on each other. As long as you have substrate that's moist to keep them wet, food, and also good ventilation, they seem to do well and reproduce. But because these are fancy, expensive escargot snails, we're not gonna raise them in a plastic tote. Instead, we're gonna go fancy with a 20-gallon fish tank. We're gonna keep this inside and treat them almost like a pet. Now I'm going to rely on my son Sterling. He is very knowledgeable in caring for exotic pets. In his room he has lots of terrariums and aquariums, including ones that have leopard geckos and other pets. And so I'm really going to rely on him on how to care for these snails. So what do we need? We have our 20-gallon fish tank here. What's the first thing they need in the bottom?
So what they need in the bottom is substrate, and what we're going to do is a mix of cocoa fiber and sphagnum moss.
And some peat moss too, right?
And some peat moss.
And how thick does it need to be?
About 3 to 4 inches so that they can burrow down and
These are big snails, right? About like the size of a golf ball?
Yeah.
And they might want to burrow all the way down, so we need to give them enough substrate where they can go down, and that might aid in being able to reproduce. They might bury themselves and lay eggs. So what do we put in the bottom first?
So first we're going to put in some cocoa fiber.
So this is just a mix of cocoa fiber. It's very sterile. You want to be careful for the source of it. Make sure there's no chemicals, or make sure that some of the cocoa fiber has to be triple washed so it's not salty.
Next we're going to add in our sphagnum moss, and we rehydrated this.
So we got sphagnum moss. It almost looks like a natural moss here, and it holds moisture well, so they should enjoy that. Okay, what else do we need for the snails?
We also need some peat moss.
Okay. And from what I've read online, you do have to change this out once in a while, but you change it out less if you add some, it's called, what was it, bioactive? Like you had to get springtails, whatever those are. What are springtails?
They're like small bugs that aid in the cleanup of the enclosure.
Okay, so we're gonna get some springtails and put them in here, and they should eat the snail poop, and then we'll have to change the substrate less. Okay, so we got the sphagnum moss, we got the substrate with the peat moss and cocoa fiber. What else?
We also boiled this rotten log to make sure that it has no harmful,
like fungus or anything, diseases, anything like that?
Nothing to hurt the snails. And
so this is almost like a little bit of snail enrichment. They can climb on it. It's a soft, rotten piece of dead wood that's been sanitized. And the reason you want a soft piece of wood, we heard, is the snails a lot of times like to climb up the glass and then hang upside down. Sometimes they lose suction and they'll drop down, and their shells could break if they're hitting hard things. So we want to make sure that the wood is pretty cushioned and soft. Okay, what else do we need? We got the substrate, we got something for them to climb on.
We also got a silicone bowl for their feeding dish.
And why did we get silicone instead of something hard? Again, that shell that could break.
Yep.
So if they drop down on this, it's pretty soft. So we'll take that out of the package. But what else did we get?
We also got a very nice intelligent misting control system with temperature controls and humidity controls.
Okay, so this should give the perfect environmental conditions, not only for temperature, but to make sure that it's moist and that we can control how much moisture is in the air, because their bodies are very soft and they don't want to dry out.
So we moved the tank into my room. Here's the lid that we made. We're going to take it off for now so that we can install the intelligent misting control system. We're going to unbox this real quick. So here we got some instructions and manuals. Here's the control interface. This is the temperature probe. Here is the base. Here is our nozzles. This is a suction cup for the cords. This is a USB-A to USB-C. This one's the filter for the water supply. And here is some tubing for the misting. So here's some brackets we mounted on with epoxy. This is where the nozzles are going to go. So I'm going to mount the nozzles. We have a second one on this side, and these are super adjustable. Because this one's the end of the line, we're going to cap it with the plug that's included in the set. Now I'm going to install some tubing that will connect the nozzles. And for support, we'll use this suction cup. So now we're going to run some tubing from our first nozzle to our control module. So there's an in and an out, and we're going to plug this into the out. And then we're going to plug this end of tubing into the in. Then we're going to cut this part to go into the water reserve. So we'll thread our tube through the lid of the reservoir and then connect the filter. Then we're going to place the whole thing on the jar. Now we're just going to fill up the water reserve with dechlorinated water. Alright, so next all we have to do is connect the temperature probe. So now we're going to plug in the control module so that way we can regulate the temperature and humidity. There's quite a few settings, and we're going to make the perfect conditions for our snails. We're going to do some adjusting because this thing has a pretty high-powered flow. Now, when the snails come, we're going to put in some dechlorinated water and some fresh leaves from the garden. All we got to do is wait for them to arrive. So our escargot snails just arrived in the mail. They shipped pretty quickly, but we're going to see if they survived. We took off the shipping address just for privacy, but let's see how good they did. Assorted paperwork. Looks like they packed them in newspaper. And here's the snails. So it looks like they survived shipping really well. They're really active, and we're going to get them into the enclosure that we made them as soon as we can. So now our snails can explore, and we're going to give them some fresh leaves to eat. I hope they like it. So we've had our snails in this enclosure for about a week now, and it's going really well, but we decided to make this bioactive. Therefore, we have to do less maintenance. So we got two different types of animals from Josh's Frogs. The first is dairy cow isopods. These are also known as roly-polies. But these help to break down any food waste or just waste from the snails. And then second, we got springtails, a culture of springtails. They help reduce the fungus and mold and other things like that. So this is really going to help our enclosure. So here we're going to add in our springtails. So this amount of springtails is actually for a 29-gallon tank, so that should be more than enough to get our colony started. So now we're going to add in our dairy cow isopods. The pack we got was advertised as 10 isopods, but we've already seen a lot of baby ones.
Now, after a few months, this habitat was thriving. The snails were doing well, but I noticed they weren't breeding. I wanted more for a meal, so I went on eBay and ordered a different species. I added them to our tank and instantly they burrowed down and started laying eggs. Pretty soon, our tank was completely full of snails, both large ones and babies. Well, as I clean out the enclosure and start to take out these leaves, I can start to see how many snails we have. The number is in the hundreds and hundreds. These were eggs that hatched inside the aquarium and they've grown quite a bit. These reproduce so quickly. These are the larger ones. I also have many, many more that are small. It's amazing how fast these snails reproduce and how quickly they grow. Well, it's now time to cook and eat our snails. Now, a practice that I've seen quite a bit online is before you cook and eat them, you want to purge them. That means completely clean out their digestive system. And to do that, I'm going to feed them carrots. Once they start pooping orange, I know everything else is completely clear and they're ready to eat. Well, as you can see, our snails have been eating the carrots for the past couple days. They're now fully purged of their old food. They're pooping out orange, and that means they're fully clean and ready to cook. Now, the recipe I'm going to use to cook these snails is inspired by Gordon Ramsay. Several years ago, he did a TV episode where he collected snails in his backyard and he cooked them, but he wanted to get away from the classic garlic and butter. So he fried them up in bacon fat and then topped them on a salad. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't have bacon fat, but I do have duck fat. So we're going to heat up some duck fat and cook these. But first, I'm going to place these in the fridge for several hours and get them cool in a dormant state. That way they're not moving around. We're going to drop them in the hot water, and once they're fully cooked, we're going to pull them out of the shells, cook them in the duck fat with sage, and we'll put them on our salad. I'm out here in my garden, and for this recipe, I need a bunch of fresh parsley. I also need some greens for our salad, including scarlet kale, as well as some chard. We're also going to pick some fresh sage from our herb garden. It's time to make our salad, and we're going to have a base of some fresh sprouts. This is from a salad mix I've been sprouting 4 days ago. It includes radish, alfalfa, clover, and broccoli. We'll also have some chard. I'm going to tear these up in little pieces. Some scarlet kale. And to flavor our snails, we have the parsley, we have the fresh sage, we have garlic, and also this is some duck fat. I roasted a duck a few days ago, and this is what's left over. And now it's time to cook our snails. Our snails are asleep, and we're going to drop them in the boiling water. Our boiled snails smell like steamed clams. We're going to take our tweezers and remove them from the shell. They just pop out right like that. Oh, look at how much meat's on this big one. Their body still has that snail shape. Well, here's our snail meat removed from the shells. The next step is we're going to heat up some duck fat in a cast iron skillet. We're going to cook some white sage along with our snails and top them on our salad. Some garlic and sage. And our snails. And we'll finish them off with some parsley. Well, here's our cooked snails. We're going to place them on top of the salad here. Well, here's my dinner for day 10. It actually looks pretty good. This is not what I usually eat, but I'm expanding my horizons, trying a little French cuisine here with some escargot. It was really fun raising these snails, and now I get to eat them. Okay, girls, are you going to try the snails? Mm-hmm. Take a bite.
I think I got its belly.
What do you think of it, Clementine? What does it taste like?
Not very good.
Not very good. Is it chewy?
Yeah.
How about you, Ruby?
It's good.
It's good.
It tastes like rubber.
It tastes like rubber? It's a texture thing. Okay, let's see.
I really like it.
You really like it? Let's see how the boys like it.
Can I spit it out?
Okay, you can spit it out in your... Now, Sterling helped raise these in the aquarium. He's the expert, and now he's going to eat one of his pets.
It's pretty good.
What's the texture like?
Kind of soft and kind of chewy. I don't know, it's good.
You've now tried escargot.
Yeah.
Well, this one was kind of out there. I wasn't sure if my family would eat the snails, but at least they tried them. What do you think of snails or escargot?
They taste weird.
They taste weird. The texture is rubbery, similar to mushrooms, and I think they kind of taste almost like a clam, only really mild. Now, that wasn't what I served my kids for dinner. They had biscuits and gravy. Do you like biscuits and gravy better?
Definitely.
Definitely. That's more our style. But at least we tried a new food. I don't think I'm going to become a snail farmer anytime soon, but it's fun trying new things. We kept them pretty much as pets in the aquarium most of the year. They had babies, they grew up, and then they had one bad day. We cooked them for dinner. So we're done snail farming. Now tomorrow we're going to have another really unusual meal. We're going to eat some llama. Do you want to try the llama?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to try some llama. We've had all kinds of different new foods. Have you ever had rabbit before?
I think so.
Yep, a couple days ago, we tried rabbit, we tried duck neck sausage, all kinds of different things, and it's going to keep coming. I have a lot of food coming soon. This weekend, we're even going to cook some chicken foot soup. Do you want to eat a chicken foot?
Maybe.
Maybe. Ruby's my adventurous eater. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully you'll join us for dinner tomorrow. Bye.